In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how you can create a personal brand. Now, sometimes when people think about branding, they just think about corporate logos and marketing and ads, and they think, Tom, Nike's a brand, Coca-Cola's a brand, but I'm a person. I'm not a brand. Well, whether you've thought about it or not, people are always watching you and judging you. Now, I realize that you might say, well, that's not fair that people are always judging me. Well, welcome to the world that we live in. People are judging you based on the actions that you take, and that is leading up to, over time, your personal brand. Now, the best definition I have ever heard about what is a brand is simple. It was a brand is a promise. It's a promise of how you're going to behave in a lot of situations. So I have 5 things that I want you to think about that are going to help you be able to grow your career and bring you more opportunity through your personal branding efforts. Number 1, know yourself. You have to be really clear about who you are in the inside and then live by that internal guide that you have about who you are and who you want to be. You want to be consistent in the actions that you take, because when you know who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, it makes it really easy to make those tough decisions that come about while you're growing a career. If you have to decide, should I do this or that? It's really easy. You ask yourself, which one is truer to who I am and who I'm trying to be going forward? And when you know who you are and you live by that guiding compass of who you are in your soul, it's going to help every single time, because the actions that you take will back up that personal brand that you want to create. The second thing is you have to be an expert in something. When we look to brands, we're always looking for someone who stands out, who knows what they're trying to accomplish. So make sure that not only are you good at your job, but you're great at some aspect of your job. Be the go-to person who people want to turn to for something in your industry, and position yourself as that expert. Get really, really good at something and make sure that everybody knows that you're the person to turn to. Number 3, sometimes you have to take a stand. We live in a world where people are very worried about being politically correct and never saying the wrong thing. But there comes a time in certain issues in and around your career and your personal life where you have to take a stand. You have to be willing to push back on what everybody else thinks you should do. Stand up for something. Do something right. Be on the right side of history in your industry when it comes to the changes that are happening. Because I don't care what industry you work in, we're all facing tremendous changes. And when you're able to stand up for what's right and take a stand to make sure that you're doing that right thing, people are going to notice you. And over the long haul, that's going to contribute to the reputation that you're building. Number 4 is you have to be visible in your industry. I am a big proponent that everyone should join either their local chamber of commerce or some business group or their national trade association for their industry. If you're not visible, you're not going to be noticed. And if you're not noticed, then you're not going to have a personal brand at all. Out of sight is out of mind. So you have to work to position that expertise. Make sure that people know when you're taking that stand for what is right, and make sure that you're putting the story out there that lets people know who you are at that level of your soul. Because you don't want to put all this effort into identifying who you are, being that expert, taking that stand, and have nobody even know that you exist. So you have to get visible, which means you have to be involved in something. That's why I'm a real big believer in joining your industry trade associations or some organization in your community. Make sure that people know you exist and that you're working to somehow impact the greater good through the efforts that you're taking. The other things you can do is participate in social media. You can speak at conferences. You can write articles or books. But if you're not doing something to put yourself out there, then you're not really going to have much of a personal brand, which means opportunities aren't going to be able to come your way. And the 5th thing is networking. Now, if you watch any of the videos here on my channel, you know that I am really big in believing that all opportunities in life come from people. Now, so many people think you can do everything digitally and that you don't actually have to interact with people. And there are some outliers where that works. If someone is famous or they're, an influencer, yes, they can do everything without having to engage with people. But for most of us in the industries that we work in and the types of jobs that we have to engage with other people. We have to engage with our clients, with our prospects, with our coworkers. We have to engage with people who serve our industry. And the more you interact with people and let each individual who you engage with know that you're interested in them as a person and that you're there to see everybody find win-win situations, that's going to help you grow that personal brand. So whether you've thought about your personal brand before or not, it really doesn't matter because you have one. The people in your industry, the people who you work with and around, they're judging you. They're making decisions. Therefore, you are much better off if you start thinking about how am I being judged by the actions that I take, and then put a plan in place that's going to move you forward to be able to be that person that people go, wow, look at her or look at him. They're doing cool things in our industry. People want to be around the people who are shaking things up and making waves. So take your personal brand very, very seriously and go out there and do things to make personal branding your secret weapon so that you will beat your competition quarter after quarter and year after year. Hey, thanks for watching this video. My name's Thom Singer, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel right down there. Just go ahead and push the little button and come back and watch the series of videos that I'm creating to help people really embrace how they can succeed through the people side, that human connection side of business. Thanks a lot.